Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're going to be talking about the cost of the T56 Magnum Swap into the 0304 Cobra. So a few things to note: the T56 Magnum is not really the T56 like you have in your 0304 Cobra. It's really a 60/60 transmission. They wanted to keep the name T56 so that people didn't think it wasn't a tried transmission, but it is a really more beefed up, better internal transmission that you'll probably be a lot more happy with. The main thing about it is it has a 26 spline input shaft coming in for the clutch, so you're going to need a different clutch that's 26 spline as well. So that's another cost that you're going to want to have to think about. The output shaft on it is a 31 spline instead of 28 spline, so you need a different yoke for your drive shaft. It is a longer transmission by about an inch and a half, so you need a shorter drive shaft. It depends on if you're a solid rear axle, if you still have the stock independent rear. So there's a lot of costs like that associated that it can be different.
So basically what I thought I'd do today is show you the spreadsheet that I put together that shows you the different costs associated with this. And what you're going to find, just to cut to the chase, is that some companies can get you free shipping, which is a large cost for this transmission because otherwise it's freight. They charge you more to come into a neighborhood with a lift gate. So you can be up to $285 in freight charges. So that's one area that you're really going to save it. Also, finding the same parts that do offer free shipping through different retailers can get you that part for free. If you're ordering directly from the manufacturer, sometimes they give you a freight charge, so you can get a better deal finding free shipping through other places. One thing to note about that, however, you do want to call these places and see if the parts are actually in stock. This has happened to me before. I've put my order through, I paid big money, and the next thing I know, it's on back order, and they've taken the money and they say, well, we'll let you know when it ships, or it charges you for it, and they don't charge you until it ships, but they say, it could be 6 to 7 weeks. So even if it says it's in stock, there were a few that I tried, you might want to double check that. So here on this spreadsheet, what we're looking at is the cheapest route that I found it. Now I have some optional equipment on here as well, which is always good when you're redoing your clutch. But let's start from the top. The part number for this one, for the Ford Modular, is the TUET11010. That's for the 2.66 first gear, which is similar to what's in the Cobra already. You want that longer first gear. When you're supercharged and you have a lot of power up front, you want first gear to last a bit longer. So the other option is the 2.97, and that one I believe was the TUET11011. Don't go and get the one before that. I think the 11009 or whatnot is a GM one. So you do really want to pay attention that you're getting the one that's for the Ford Modular that has the retainer sleeve for the throwout bearing to slide on. Because a T56 XL or some of these other ones that are built for the GT500s and some of these other cars have the hydraulic clutch. So you do want to make sure you're getting the right part number. So with that, it starts at $35.45. That's the price that you find just about everywhere, and a lot of times right under it says discounts and everything do not apply. Now, I was lucky enough, I'll tell you, I got mine through American Muscle, and the main reason they gave me a $30 credit, which was great to find some discount, and they also offered free shipping. And so that's even with free freight shipping. It comes on Estes as the freight carrier, and it's supposed to come this week, so I'll give you a little update and let you know the condition that it shows up. Okay, now let's talk about the drive shaft. So this transmission, being about an inch and a half longer, does require a shorter drive shaft. So the drive shaft shop, DSS-FD-SH8-MAG-F is the drive shaft for that. You can cross-reference that across different places. That's the one that's intended for the 0304 Cobra with the Magnum. So it's going to have that 31 spline input shaft. It's also going to be the right length for the independent rear suspension Cobras. Okay, so keep attention to that one. Now that is a part that is 6 to 8 weeks out, and so when I first went to purchase this through some other people, Even American Muscle, who I like dealing with them, they were pretty good. Even they did not have it in stock. So, and when I checked with them, it was going to be 6 or 7 weeks. So I think that's just where DSS is right now, no matter who the manufacturer is. I ended up buying mine through Summit Racing and got free shipping on it. If you tried to get it directly from DSS, it would have been the same price, but with $123 shipping. So Summit's really, taking care of me. When I asked them if they're drop shipping it, they said no. They said they do have a batch of them coming to their warehouse. So it's something they pre-ordered, so they're kind of standing in line for you compared to if you just put in an order directly with the manufacturer. All right, next, the McCLEOD RXT. I have a full install on this, a twin disc clutch. That's something you're going to need, at least a 26 spline input shaft, it needs to go into that 26 spline shaft clutch. So make sure you have the right clutch set up. This one ran me about $12.95, or you can see $13.82.41 with tax. I think I did get free shipping on that one too. I bought a lot of parts through Summit. Some of these I had bought before. Okay, you're going to need the adjustable pivot ball stud, and that one, we'll be setting that up. I have a video on setting pivot ball stud length. Check the video description for that. Okay, pilot bearing, I think that's kind of a mandatory thing. Throwout bearing, okay, that's all good. Now the fluid, okay, it's not free either. TREMEC has their MTFHP, or the manual transmission fluid, high performance fluid, and it's pretty expensive for 4 quarts. Comes out to about $100. Now the T56 Magnum does come with a shifter, but no shift handle, and you can't just put your Cobra's T56 shifter on it. It's different. It has more bolts on the top. I think it's 6 bolt over the stock 4 bolts on the top cover. So you, depending, I don't think you need to buy the shifter, but you do have to buy a handle for that, and that little triax seems to be the favorite among a lot of people. I'm going to try my brother's before I buy one, because he has one on one of his cars. Okay, now optional equipment, I also threw in here clutch fork, flywheel bolts, bell housing bolts. I would also not recommend the bell housing bolt kit, because you're paying for a pivot ball stud that you cannot use, and that's $30 or $40 worth of that cost. So just FYI. So let's look at the total here. We have our total cost of $68.76.39. Okay, the total with no extras, you're looking about $174 of optional equipment. So basically, the cheapest that I'm getting everything out the door is $6,702.39. That's a difference of $308 when you look at if I was going to buy it through somebody else. Okay, so switching over to the next tab on the spreadsheet here, what we're looking at is if I would have bought it somewhere else, how much more would it have cost me, not searching around. So mainly you're looking at a difference in the shipping charge. So as you can see here, $185 for a freight charge. They want to take that lift gate into your neighborhood and charge you for that. So that's a cost that I was able to avoid with American Muscle. And same with the freight for the drive shaft. If I ordered it directly from the manufacturer, same exact price, however, $123 of shipping. So all said and done, those are the two things that you're basically looking at, an extra $338 more buying it in different ways. For me, there's some preference. I'm closer to Sparks, Nevada. Summit gets me things very quickly, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that the less travel time on the parts, hopefully they won't have as much of a chance of getting damaged. But all in all, if we're looking at a total cost here, you're looking at $7,214. Or if you're buying just the bare minimums without a new clutch fork, flywheel bolts, bell housing bolts, which really, were only about $174. You're still $7,000 for this transmission. So you will see videos where they say, I don't know what everybody's talking about. The Magnums are not that expensive. Well, they're at least $35, $45. If you go short in your own drive shaft, hopefully that works out for you. But that's going to probably be a couple $100. You might save $300 or $400 there, but you do have to get a 26 spline input shaft clutch. You do have to get, the adjustable pivot ball and the fluid, and so that's where basically the majority of the cost is. So anyway, hopefully you enjoy this video. Please check the video description. I'll keep you updated here as this transmission comes in and as we put it in the car. a big question. Why not just put a 26 spline input shaft in your current T56 and avoid a lot of this? And that's what I did. However, I was not satisfied with the T56 replacement input shafts, the 26 spline ones that they offer. TREMEC does not offer theirs anymore. And so I have a video to put in the description. You can watch on that too, why I decided in the end, I think I'm just better off with a T56 Magnum. So thanks for watching. Put any questions in the video description. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.